Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu Deadly Premonition. Wir haben Kapitel 3 und Deadly Premonition 2 natürlich. Wir haben Kapitel 3 jetzt beendet. I don't know, wie es jetzt weitergehen soll. Ich blende mich mal vorsichtshalber aus. Hätte ich wirklich gewusst, dass das jetzt noch so kurz ist, hätte ich das im April auch zu Ende gespielt, aber sei es drum.
Oh, I just love the look of glistening green grass. You know the green I'm talking about. Moist with sprinkler water, reflecting the radiance of the sun. In that regard, Louisiana's grass is in a class of its own. Just picture it on a clear summer day. A cold
Diese Musik hat mich verfolgt im ersten Teil.
gazing out from your porch onto the garden you're so proud of. This is the life. Doesn't get much better than this. That's how you feel. A well-kept garden and a cold beer, the ultimate combination. They go hand in hand, just like hot dogs and sporting events. But that grass, it's got a bit of a nerve to it. It doesn't matter how many times you cut it down. It'll always keep coming back and turn your eyes away for a bit. And that's when it'll really sprout up. Up until last week, your garden was perfectly pruned and balanced, symmetrical and pristine. But you wake up the next morning, and you can't even stand to look at what it's become. That's why people work so hard to cut their grass. Like it's some ordeal they've been tasked with by the big man in the sky.
Na dann.
And it never ends. Understand me, Zach? If you want to stop cutting your grass, well, you need to either submit to its growth or force it to wither. That's all humans can really do. Hard work never really gets you anywhere in the big picture. Nothing but wasted
Martin Zack
effort. You
genannt.
following me here? Now just be honest with yourself. Be honest, Francis Zack Morgan.
Ah, du Arschloch.
Oh, howdy, Zach. So we meet again. Such a touching reunion. Like a little boy who was given up for adoption, finally reuniting with his true parents. Look,
Willie!
even little Willie here is beside himself with joy.
Kissing!
Oh, dear.
Damn it! I'm gonna kill you!
Oh, was geht denn jetzt ab, Leute?
Hey, let her go! What the hell's gotten into you?
Alter, wie sieht der aus?
Jeez, are you okay?
Warum war der so grau? Was hat Kaysen mit ihm gemacht?
That should do it. Well, no turning back now. How should we clean this up?
I'm searching the room.
Oh, okay. 2019. Thompsonville, Vorort von Boston, Messe. Ach, das habe ich keinen Bock auszusprechen.
This room is pure insanity. But I can't let it shake me. Why did you come here, Aaliyah? Remember the real reason you decided to investigate Morgan's house in the first place. We came here to find a missing girl.
Why do you think Jethro here survived?
Why?
I mean, doesn't he look like the kind of guy who'd die first in a horror movie?
He married into the Clarkson family. He didn't possess Clarkson blood, so he had nothing to do with Helena Doman's plan.
The blood purge thing? But if that was all there was to it, then Helena Doman wouldn't have killed anyone but Clarksons, right? Yet a ton of the Clarkson gang members died, along with Sheriff Woods. It doesn't add up.
She did whatever it took to achieve her goals. She'd kill if the plan required it. But killing people outside of the Clarkson family was never a priority. Her ultimate goal was to cut off the Clarkson bloodline. Maybe he was always meant to be an assistant to the goddess of fertility.
What, like a servant?
He was the kind of person who was most in his element when he had someone to serve. Even afterwards, he let Patricia take over the estate, while he became her assistant.
Wow, da hat er ja richtig einen Sinneswandel gehabt, nicht?
As soon as he settled into his role, the townspeople started to respect him. Now they practically revere him, and he's even earned himself a nickname, One-Armed Danny.
So you think his life played out exactly the way Professor R planned it to go? Talk about tragic.
I was so positive. But she isn't here. There is something about this room, though. Agent Jones, what do you think?
Me?
Ja, das habe ich mich auch gefragt. Der denkt doch nicht so viel.
I'm not as smart as you. Why are you even asking me?
Are you hiding something?
Of course not. Knock it off. Me? Hiding something? Ha! That's a good one.
Also redet jemand, der was verheimlicht, aber ist okay.
Come on. I got nothing to hide.
I thought I would find answers in this room, but I was wrong. This room is only filled with photos of people related to the case and the handiwork of a madman. Feels like I'm wandering through a heavy mist. Why is Morgan showcasing those women's photos? And that bed. Why did Lise have to die first?
Ich blende mich doch mal aus.
What is this?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Ja?
The one who took her in after the incident was Daniel Clarkson, the next in line to succeed the Clarkson family. He's the one that ended up raising her from that point onwards. Isn't fate strange? In the end, two people who were completely unrelated by blood ended up inheriting that house.
Yeah, you're right. But sometimes I wonder, what is family anyway? Go back far enough, we're all strangers to one another. We're talking countless generations, marriages and birth, you know.
Humans love to deify the rules they create.
Naja, ja doch, stimmt.
It's almost like that's been an unwritten law from the very start. If you loved someone from the bottom of your heart, would you ever be able to marry someone else? Or kill for them?
Whoa, what are we talking about?
I never heard of any kind of motive like that in any other murder case. I just keep feeling like we're being fed a story that he made up in his mind.
True. Honestly, without having experienced what that's like, I can't really say what I'd do. But I'd never try and force love to happen if it didn't seem like it was meant to be. There are 3.5 billion women on this planet. There's got to be more than one specific person who anyone can fall deeply in love with, right?
But what if we were talking about pizza, not women? You just discovered the perfect ultimate pizza, but you aren't allowed to take even a single bite. Unless you kill someone for the cook.
Das ist ein sehr
Have you
seltsamer
ever
Vergleich.
loved someone with all your heart?
What kind of person do you take me for?
That's my line.
This room paints such a bizarre picture. But upon closer look, I can see some strange sort of pattern to it all. Was Morgan trying to recreate something with all this? If so, there must be a reason for all of these weird and hideous things.
Ach, sag bloß.
What's that?
A hunting trophy. A brown bear with a dragonfly eye patch.
Von den Klacksen,
Why
ne?
is it smoking a cigar?
It's probably supposed to represent Philip J. Clarkson's body.
And the elk is?
Elina.
Helena
Ach nee,
Doman.
Helena Doman. Okay.
So that's why it's got such good taste in fashion. And this one is Galena Clarkson?
Why did he want to line up corpses that were killed in different places, all together in a single room? Red seeds?
You sure it's okay to press that?
Won't know until we try.
Hey, it's Woodstock. Look, a peace sign. Love and peace, man. Even I can figure out what this is from. It's Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Grateful Dead, and Led Zeppelin. But I shouldn't have to explain it to a music nut like you, right?
That isn't a peace mark. It's upside down. You don't need to be a music nut to see that.
Das hatten wir doch im ersten Teil.
Who says that's the top part? If you're looking from Lisa's head, this is the top part, making it a big, fat peace mark.
Hast du die Akten denn nicht gelesen, Kumpel?
No, this is the ground.
Where's your proof?
The red seeds. Seeds go in the ground, right? That makes this wall the bottom. Lisa's head is clearly at the top. Period.
Nah.
Also, Agent Jones. Led Zeppelin never played at Woodstock.
Dankeschön.
He's representing a human with a hunting trophy made from an animal. I feel like I'm looking at a piece of modern art done in really bad taste. Anna Graham. The first victim of the Greenvale case. Her body was found hanging from a tree,
Ja.
like a goddess being worshipped in a sanctuary. Meanwhile, Lise Clarkson was found on the bank of a river in an area that had been fashioned into an altar. The person who gruesomely ended the life of that young woman must be brought to justice.
I completely agree. They both still had their whole lives ahead of them.
The Le Carré case and the Greenvale case. According to my investigation, the one key that links both cases is Francis Zach Morgan. But if we look at the cases from his point of view, we see one more connection. The red seeds are also present in both cases. I believed that he was the one who brought them to both towns. But maybe... No, never mind.
Ja, weil hat halt nicht, ne?
When Helena Doman returned home, someone must have let her inside.
You think that was her brother-in-law, Daniel?
I don't know.
Well, alligators did chomp his arm off. He probably had it in for old man PJ too. But, you know, I don't think he had anything to do with this.
Nee, der war einfach nur ein Idiot.
Why not?
You're making it out to be more complicated than it really is. That's always the problem with people like you. Too smart for your own good.
Just get to the point.
Professor R marched straight through the front door to the mansion. She arrived right at her destination using the quickest route possible without having to undergo a single security check.
I know. My question is, how was she able to do that?
Because she's family. It doesn't matter if PJ disowned her. He never stopped loving his son. A father would never abandon his child, no matter how much they failed to fulfill his expectations. That's what being a parent is all about. Don't look at me like that. I know, I don't have a son myself, but I have a father. He's still back in my hometown, managing the printing plant my grandfather started. He'll be turning 80 soon. He wanted me to take over the place, but as you can see, I'm out here. But I know how this whole thing works. Even though I haven't seen him in forever, the minute I go home, he'll welcome me with warm, open arms.
So soll's sein, ja. Gott, das ist so...
She planned a string of murders all in order to restore the Clarksons to their former glory, right?
Yeah, according to Morgan's story. Matches up with the files, too.
But the only proof of that is the confession she privately gave to Morgan just before she died. Galena Clarkson was also murdered immediately after she confessed. Don't you think it's all a little too convenient?
Kommt drauf an.
Well, story-wise, yeah.
And the sacrifices. None of the FBI's official records contain an example of an actual human sacrifice. Aside from the cases that Francis Zach Morgan handled, that is.
There are tons of examples of animal sacrifice, though. And remember the witch hunts back in the Middle Ages?
Meaning?
Meaning, there are always exceptions to the rule. And Morgan alluded to the existence of some sort of journal, right? I think he said he read it in Professor R's lab. If we could find that, maybe this would all become easier to swallow.
The report didn't mention anything about a journal. And if it truly did exist, it surely would have been submitted as evidence. Unless he tried to cover it up on purpose. Or...
Unless the journal never existed in the first...
Exactly. He was taught how to rule as a child, never confided in anyone, and married for purely political reasons. Then he prospered so much that he became powerful enough to rule an entire town on his own. But in the end, his own child betrayed him and ended his entire clan in a series of violent deaths. If that was your life, how would you look back on it?
Yeah, beats me. I wasn't born into a rich family, nor was I ever taught how to rule. And for what it's worth, I've also never knocked up a young ex-actress.
Nein, ich bin nicht eingeschlafen, Leute. Ich lausche dem Ganzen nur und weiß nicht so recht, was ich dazu sagen soll.
But I guess the one thing we can say is that any good life needs balance. Get too hung up on one thing and you lose sight of everything else. And someone thinks they can step all over people and then live out the rest of their life in peace.
Diese Passagen immer sehr anstrengend.
We always get to see how those people end up in our line of work. In the end, they die.
Weil es sehr viel Exposition ist und das einen sehr rausreißt und eigentlich nicht so... Pizza betrügt einen nicht. Junge, was ist falsch mit dir?
This case took place in Carré and centered around the Clarksons. Oppressive authority, cross purposes, madness, and love. But Katrina took the truth along with many innocent lives and buried it all at the bottom of the swamp. But there's one truth that can never be washed away. This all started with the death of a young girl.
Galina in Puppenform, Lise in Puppenform.
Galina Clarkson went to California to become an actress. But things never took off for her, so she eventually returned home. Then she murdered her own daughter and ended up like this. Where did she go wrong?
She did manage to appear in a few movies, right?
Not as any characters with actual names, and never with much clothes on.
So that's the only value they saw in her, huh? Sorry, that was insensitive.
It's an everyday occurrence in that world. She was also bullied a lot.
Bullied? How?
They'd cut up her costumes, her scripts, and even her everywhere she went. Then, after 3 years of that, her stylist chopped off a chunk of her hair. By accident.
Are you kidding me?
I did a little investigating on this. In the end, a self-titled big cheese producer tricked her. She almost ended up going into porn.
Not hard to imagine what would have happened after that.
One witness said that after returning to Carré, she refused to use scissors to cut anything.
Okay.
Everyone thinks that the principal thing to the tree is the fruit. But in point of fact, the principal thing to it is the seed. Now I know why Lise Clarkson was murdered first. Lisa's death was Professor R having second thoughts. According to Morgan, her plan was to perform parricide and filicide, then commit suicide. Those were the 3 deaths necessary to complete the ritual, remember?
Ja.
Which means she technically could have killed Patricia first. That would have been the best way to delay any interference from the Clarksons themselves. The reason she didn't kill Patricia first is because Lena was actually following a different plan, or perhaps she merely changed her plan as she followed through with it. At some point, new emotions started to take root within her. She had second thoughts about something. And in order to shake those off, she used Galena to kill Lise first.
Ja, sie hat
in order to cut off any possible escape. But that only made her plan move ahead quicker than she could have ever imagined, which forced her to rush right up to the end with those misgivings always in the back of her mind.
Huh? Wait, hold on. Yeah, you lost me. What are you talking about?
In other words, at some point, Helena Doman decided that she wanted to make Patricia the next heir. The blood purge wasn't for the goddess of fertility. It was for their daughter, Patricia.
Wait, are you saying Helena knew from the start that Sheriff Woods would die with Candy?
That's the only explanation I can think of.
Huh.
Remember, this is only assuming that everything Morgan told us was true. Until I can trust that man, this is all nothing more than conjecture.
Considering how insane this all is, it sounds perfectly believable to me.
Ich frage mich generell, was mit dem los ist. Irgendwie zerstört das ja schon ein bisschen das Ende von Teil 1. Oh, Hugan. Immer noch da?
Franics York Morgen. Remember me?
Ja.
Oh, cat got your tongue. Understood. You know why I'm here, don't you?
Gibst du mir wieder lustige
Surely,
Rätsel?
you must know what this means. To commemorate our reunion, allow me to give you another oracle. The contract, once signed, will last for eternity.
Ist das Melvin?
But only in the presence of true love. Did you hear that? Good. It's been a while since I felt this. You know, there's hardly anyone in this era who can see me like you can. And they've been dropping like flies since you first came to see me.
Tragisch.
Breaks my heart. We don't have much time. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, warte. So.
Excellent. You pass. You haven't changed, Franics York Morgen. But that question isn't for me to answer. Go and see it with your own eyes. Oh, time's up.
Du warst so nützlich wie ein...
We'll have to finish this during our next reunion.
Wie ein kaputter Wischmopp. Cutbeagle musste cutten. Diese Expositionsphase hat einfach über eine Stunde gedauert und das war mir ehrlich gesagt für ein Part zu lang. Da müssen wir jetzt durch, dass wir 2 Folgen Exposition Deluxe haben. I'm so sorry, ich muss noch mal gucken, wo ich den Cutter genau setze. Ihr seht, ich habe das Spiel schon durch. Ist unschwer an dem Titelbild zu erkennen und mit dem neuen Bild, das da steht. Ich werde dazu nichts verraten. Guckt es. Ich würde sagen, wir sehen uns dann in der nächsten Folge Exposition Deluxe und Extended Director's Cut mäßig wieder. Habt einen schönen Tag und haut rein.